Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you all so much for joining tonight's Patagonia community yoga class. Tonight we are going to be focusing on our hips and our apex pose. What we're going to be working up to is going to be a Yin posture. So Yin is a type of yoga that instead of moving quickly, we actually pause and slow down a lot. Typically, the poses are held anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. And as you can imagine, when we're focusing on our hips, this is for you, Michelle. Hopefully she might not be here tonight. That's crazy. As when we're focusing on our hips, holding a pose for longer can be really difficult. So that's why we want a lot of props, blankets, pillows, to support ourselves so that we can actually relax into that posture. All right, so just keep them nearby. And we're gonna come to our back for happy baby pose. You can move all of your props away. Slowly come down. Gently draw one knee in to your chest. Give it a little squeeze. And then bring the second knee up. You want your knees wide so that your thighs are coming towards your side ribs. And then point and flex your toes. Maybe even roll your ankles a little bit. And reach with your hands. Find the outside of your feet. Your elbows are to the inside of your knees. Your tailbone will curl up, flex your feet, and then start to gently draw your feet back down. Do your best to draw your tailbone back down to the mat as well so that your whole spine is flat on the mat, and you especially feel the sacrum, the very bottom of your spine pressing down into the mat. Now, if it's a little difficult for you to get into happy baby tonight, then you can always grab like a strap or a belt and just loop that around your feet so that you have something to pull down onto. I got a handy dandy scarf right here. Hopefully your feet are clean if you're going to use something like that, or relatively clean. And so something like this can be a really good modification for drawing your feet down. Relax your entire neck down onto the mat, and as you gently pull down, exhale. Inhale. Slightly release on your feet just to you're about 80%. And then exhale through your nose, gently draw your feet back down. One more inhale. Let your hands just inch up so the sensation is not quite so great. And exhale, pull down. This time hold. Feel even your shoulders anchor down into the mat. So there's a cross all the way down your spine, and then from shoulder blade to shoulder blade. And gently release your feet down. Again, give your knees a gentle squeeze and then draw them together. Give them another squeeze down into your chest. Grab behind your knees, gently roll up. So we're going to move into our first Yin position. Now this one is a very common position in yoga, but you'll notice when you hold it longer, it becomes a little bit more intense. So that's why 2 blocks might be helpful in this pose. Again, you can use 2 cans of soup, 2 thick books, boots, something that are equal height. You're going to bring your left foot forward. Place your hands down to frame around your left foot. Tuck your right toes and walk it back. So you're in a nice long lunge position. Now, if you have sensitive knees, one option is you can curl up your mat so that your back right knee is supported on something. The second option is to pull in a blanket or a thin pillow and place that under your knee. Then come back forward. Bring your hands up to your hips so that your hips are square. So left hip gently draws back, right hip forward. And then come back forward, plant your hands down. So if your hands don't come down to the mat, that's where it might be nice to just press into a block. Your choice whether or not you like right toes, back toes tucked, or the back of your foot pressing down. And so in this yin position, I'll just move my glass up here. You want to let your chin drop in towards your chest. Let the weight of your torso rest on that front thigh and start to sag a little bit. So in yin, you're not so much worried about constant integration, right? Really pressing that foot down and drawing the knee forward, which we do a lot in a vinyasa, an alignment-based vinyasa, which is what I like to call my class. But instead, we want to set ourselves up so our hands here are like stilts, holding up our shoulders, and then let the weight of the body, like gravity, start to pull your body down and draw you a little bit deeper into the pose. Gaze is down. Feel this right psoas. Start to sink a little bit closer towards the mat. Maybe let your eyes close so that you can turn off some of that physical stimulation. The eyes drawing your awareness away. Instead, start to focus on a different physical stimulation. What's going on in your body? Potentially on that left leg, there's a little tug or pull around the femur head. Maybe an opening on the inside of the left leg. Keep your breathing strong and steady in and out through your nose. And let yourself sink deeper into that sensation of opening up the hips. And we're going to begin to adjust slightly. Take the left hand, the outer hand, and bring it to the inside. Now, if you're using props, you can bring that prop with you. We're going to move into a runner's lunge. So a runner's lunge. Oh, hey, Michelle. We're doing hips for you. A runner's lunge is going to bring you down a little bit deeper into your hips. So if you're using props and they're not too hard, you can come down on your elbows on those or walk your hand just simply forward. Once you get to an edge where you feel like this is about as far as I want to go today, and so having a lot of things nearby so that you can adjust height and softness, density is going to be good tonight. And then again, let your chin drop in towards your chest. Let your eyes start to close. Do your best to keep your left leg from dropping out to the left side. So we're not going into what I like to call nuclear pigeon, where we fold to the outside of the foot. We'll save that for a little bit later, but instead keeping as though there was a medium strength magnet between your left shoulder and the inside of your left knee. Take just 5 more deep breaths here. In and out through your nose, letting it be soft, letting it be gentle, and even, equal on the inhale and the exhale in terms of length. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe starting to notice a warm sensation, a heating up on the outside of your left hip, right at the very top of the femur head. Slowly walk yourself back up. Move the props away. Bring your hands down. Start to shift back and simply draw that left knee back. If you're using a blanket underneath your knees, then you can keep them both there. And then just do some simple hip circles. So it can be quite intense as you transition in and out of a yin posture and then reverse those circles. So make sure that as you guide yourself into those transitions, you're being really slow. All right. And then we're going to move on to the right side. So simply walk your right foot forward, the heel toe it forward. Support underneath your left knee, draw your right knee forward, and then maybe tuck your left toes, draw it back so you have a nice long lunge. And we'll start with the lunge, hands on either side of that front foot, of that right leg. So I should say in yin yoga, they call this position dragon pose, which I feel like it's because there's a slow fire burning on the inside. It just kind of starts to creep up on you. They're like, lunge, I've got this. We do lunges all the time in her class, which in Vinyasa or Sanskrit, this is Anjaneyasana, low lunge. In yin, this is dragon pose. All right, so as you draw your right knee forward, decide if you'd like to use the props or maybe fingertips to frame around the right foot. I like to draw my palms up, so just the tips of my fingers are pressing into the mat, and that gives me a little bit more leverage on my arms. And then let your chin drop down towards your chest. Let your eyes start to close. Decide if you like it better to tuck your left toes or press just gently the left foot into the mat. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, see if you can draw your right knee a little bit more forward. See if you can let the weight of your torso start to rest on that thigh. And as you release a little bit of the weight of your body, find that weight pulling now your left psoas a little bit closer to the earth. Gently increasing that sensation in the left hip. So seeing if you can start to notice where you first feel it, where's the most intense sensation. And then as you get a couple breaths deeper into the pose, potentially that sensation might start to move. Use your arms to regulate how much weight you put into that front leg. Another inhale. And exhale. And inhale. Bring your right arm up and then place it to the inside of your right foot. You might need to heel toe that right foot a little over to the side. Setting yourself up for your runner's lunge. Decide if you'd like to pull in a block or a pillow underneath your arms or simply just walk them forward so that your torso again starts to lower down a little bit closer to the mat. And again, on this right side, do your best not to let that leg go limp and draw it out to the side, but instead keep the foot planted on the ground. So there's a little connection or a drawing in between your inner right knee and your right shoulder. Let your head drop down, maybe close your eyes. Again, initially you feel a deepening on the left psoas, the front of the left hip, the top of the left femur. But then you might start to notice that sensation beginning to warm up the outside of your right hip, moving to the outside of your glutes. And the cool thing about Yin postures is that it starts to work with your fascia. You start to manipulate or dive into that layer between the skin and your muscles. And so as you pull and tug with that, or maybe loosen up some areas of tightness, it's like a coating around a candy, right? It wraps around your entire body. And so as you start to open in one spot, there might be radiating wrinkles or lines that move to other parts of your body. So that's why even though you're stretching in the hip, maybe you feel a tugging in your chest or in your low back. Potentially there are some areas of tightness there, some gripping that initiate all the way at the front. And so by relaxing our muscles, allowing ourselves to get into a pretty deep pose without that integration, we're able to tune into those other subtle layers. All right, slowly start to walk your hands back under your shoulders, move your props out of the way. Plant both hands, walk gently your right leg back, and then you'll bring it down next to your left, all fours. Again, take real gentle hip circles, one way and the other. And you'll slowly come down to one side. Bring your legs out in front of you. Coming into Dandasana, staff pose, legs extended out. If this is difficult on your hamstrings, couple options. You can sit up on a blanket. You can also take a blanket and let it be a little prop underneath your knees. Or you can make that with blocks. So again, you have a lot of things nearby. We're just gonna throw them in and out as needed. Scoop both of your glutes back so you have 2 points pressing down into the mat. Sit up nice and tall, flex your toes back. Inhale and exhale, staying nice and tall. Now you're going to start to draw your left foot back. Keep that foot flexed. Reach down just like we did in Happy Baby. So the arm is going to go to the inside of the knee. The hand is going to go to the outside of the foot. Once you grab hold, press your right hand down into the floor next to you. So you're going to use this to remind yourself to keep your back nice and straight. From there, start to lift up your left leg. Again, if you can't really get a good hold on that left leg, maybe it's really far forward, you can use a strap. So this is a really good place to stay. Again, using that right arm to remember to stay nice and erect in your spine. So this is called archer's pose. So you can imagine you're pulling your left leg back as though it was a string on a bow. Maybe one day we'll all be able to get this foot to our left ear. Probably not today for me. But that is what you sometimes see when you look up this pose. You're really opening up into, again, that connection around your hip at your femur, now from more of the back side. Kind of a funky posture. Requires some core strength, though, to keep you nice and erect. And then slowly release that left foot back down. Maybe even just gently thwack the back of your legs on the mat. Shake it out. All right. And then come to Dandasana again. Sit up nice and tall. Plant both hands by your hips so that you get a nice straight spine. Get a little muscle memory of that. See if you can try and keep that. And begin to bring your right foot in. Right toes flexed. Keep that left leg long. And you also want to keep the toes of your left leg straight up to the ceiling so that it's staying nice and centered in your hip socket. Then right hand comes down. So again, a lot like half happy baby. Grab the outside of your right foot. Press your left hand into the floor and then lift your right heel up. So you might need to work that right thigh a little bit to the outside so there's no fleshy parts or clothing getting in the way. And then begin to bend your right elbow. Pull your right foot back. Just as far as it'll go. So there's a lot of work in the arm here to hold your leg up. And then again, press your left hand into the floor. Sit up nice and tall. Imagine that right foot could get closer to your right ear. Breath in and out. We'll do one more breath. Engage your core. Hold yourself up. And then exhale, release. Extend both legs. Give them a gentle thwack, thwack, thwack on the ground. All right, and then keeping your left leg extended, we're going to move into Janu Shirshasana. So you're going to pull your right leg back and open yourself out to the side of your mat. Left leg extended. Your hips are now open. You're going to pull the right heel in towards midline. All right, and then from here, sit up nice and tall. You're going to bring your left hand to the inside. So actually, I will mirror you. So left leg is extended. Left hand drops down to the inside of your left leg. And it can be high up on your thigh. It can be down low. You're going to reach your right arm up. Open your palm. And then let it drop back. Let your ear drop towards your shoulder on the left side. Can roll that neck in and out and use this bottom dropped hand to keep opening, pressing into your extended leg. Again, if this is a lot on your hamstring, you can still keep a blanket or something underneath that extended leg to make it not so tight there. All right, slowly start to bring your palm towards your foot and start to reach overhead. Now, as you begin to reach overhead, press more with your forearm into your leg. Open your chest up towards the ceiling so that you're not collapsing, but instead keeping a balance, opening the front and the back. Now, you'll see my fingers and my toes don't meet. That's not the goal of this pose. Instead, we're starting to get a little pull and a little tug on our right hip, right at the top, right where the side body comes in. So imagine as though there was somebody pushing down, which is what I often do at in-person classes, just a gentle guide around that right hip, keeping it anchored into the mat as you pull your right arm up overhead, getting into the side body. You can rotate a little bit down, maybe a little bit up. Feel where you need that stretch more. Again, relax your neck. Let your head go so it's not doing the work. Hold it up all day. Inhale. Exhale, start to let that right arm come down. Bring your left arm to the outside of your left leg, and then lift yourself up halfway. Re-square your torso over your extended leg. Flex that toe back, inhale, and then exhale, fold. Maybe reaching for that foot, or you can keep your hands grounded on the mat and use that to pull your torso down. Take 3 breaths. One more deep inhale through your nose. And exhale. And slowly release, walk your hands back in. Slowly bring yourself up. Spin yourself so that you're centered to the side of the mat, and then switch sides. Extend your right leg out to the side and bring your left leg in. Pull your heel in. So again, heel lines up with your spine. Sit up nice and tall. Open up your right forearm, place it to the inside of your right leg, and then press into that leg. Start to extend your left arm up, open your palm so you've got a nice big wingspan. And you can see my biceps are still in the straight line. Then let that arm drop back behind you. Let your ear drop down to your right shoulder. Open up your neck. And open up your chest. Keep pressing and anchoring with that right leg, right forearm into the ground. Lift your left arm up so it's perpendicular to the floor, palm towards your toes. Inhale. Exhale, start to reach your arm up overhead. And then right away, notice if this left hip is starting to lift up. Keep anchoring it down. Actually press it down as you reach your fingers up. Notice if when you press down with your hip, can you actually start to feel even more of an opening in your side body? A little bit of pull. Do your best to remember what this felt like with a nice open chest. Try not to collapse to get the fingers towards your toes, because we'll get there. We'll do that forward fold, but right now, focus on your side body. Maybe make little small rotations. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale. Then exhale, start to let this left hand wind coming down to the floor. Move your right hand to the outside of your right leg. Press yourself up halfway. Pivot so that your hips and your shoulders are now more square. And then exhale, fold. Inhale again, lift up halfway. See if you can pull that right hip back. And then exhale, fold to your extent, your limit. Maybe grabbing the foot, maybe just fingers by the side. You can also pull on your shin or around your knee, wherever you can get a good grip if you want to gently guide yourself down a little bit deeper. Take 2 more breaths. Inhale. And exhale. Last time, inhale. And exhale. Slowly release. Gently walk your hands back in. And then just for good measure, because we're here, try to extend both legs out. Now, I want you to take your thighs, lift them up, and then rotate them in. The thighs rotate in. And then hands to the inside of both thighs. Inhale. Exhale, start to fold forward. So why rotate in versus out? So if you think about it, maybe one day you can lie all the way flat on your belly. And with that, you do actually want your legs to rotate in with you, not out, away from the direction of your fold. You can come down to your forearms, or then you can pull in pillows, props, elbows on them. You can rest your head, maybe rest your forehead down. Keep pressing out through your heels. Take another deep breath in and deep breath out. And inhale, slowly walk yourself back up. My legs already feel longer. Take your hands to the outside now and then grab underneath your knees, gently pull them up. Ooh. Bring your feet in, give them a gentle squeeze. And then we will move from here. You'll just pivot on your hips into our core. So let's turn on our core, and then we're going to do a little bit of flow. So it's going to be a kind of fast and then slow, and then fast and then slow pace tonight. I think if we did just slow, I'd lose y'all. If we did just fast, we wouldn't get quite so deep. All right, so here with your knees bent, drawing in, come to your tippy toes. Lift your heels up off the mat. Bring your hands and slip them into the crease of your knees and pull your chest up. So again, nice straight back. Lift your left leg. Bring it down. Engage your core. Lift your right leg. Bring it down. Now lift both legs. Once your feet come off the mat, see if you can curl just your toes back, but keep that point, just toes curl back and flare. Draw your knees together. Again, use your hands to the inside of your knee and lift your chest up. So this is called Navasana boat pose. All right, stay here. Maybe work on extending your left and your right arm out to the side. Keep your navel drawing in and keep a lift in your low back. Breathe, find stillness, keep drawing your knees towards each other. Maybe extend your left and then your right leg. And if that's too much, you come down. If that's too much, you come in, especially if you feel any sensation on your low back. I'll stay here for another 2 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Whew. Keep holding it. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly bring your hands in. Bring your toes down to the mat. All right. From here, placing your palms down, you're just going to walk yourself forward so that you're on your toes. Oh, Rufus, can't see. Move over to the side. So that you're on your toes. And then start to press your legs towards straight, coming into Uttanasana, a forward fold. Start to move into a little flow. Walk your feet out wide. And then nestle your torso down in between your legs. Grab opposite elbows and hang a little bit side to side. And then place your hands down, heel toe, your feet hip width distance apart. Drop 2 fists to the inside of your toes to measure that distance. Bend your knees, reach your arms forward, and then up. For chair pose, Utkatasana. Lengthen your low back down. Yeah, nice. Get low. Got some good videos going. Up. Gotta make sure the toddler doesn't break in. All right. Nice. Take a breath in, open your chest. And exhale, sit a little bit deeper. Turn on those legs, feel those femurs. Inhale, press to standing, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, lift up halfway. And then exhale, plant your hands, step back into plank. Draw your navel in, take a breath in, rock forward. And then exhale, lower down halfway or all the way. Kick your toes back. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, step your left foot forward towards your left hand, coming into a lunge. And then gaze back at that right foot. We're setting up for Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2 pose. So you're going to step that right foot in a little bit and then turn so the right toes go out to the side of the mat and the heel comes towards midline. Bend deeper into your left knee so it stacks over your ankle, and then inhale, rise up. Virabhadrasana 2. Press strongly through that right leg. And again, if this just doesn't feel good on your hips, a variation of Virabhadrasana 1 is a high lunge. So you can just lift that heel up if you don't like this position. Breathe in and out. Again, inhale and exhale. More time, inhale. Exhale, place both hands down to the inside of your left foot. Spin your left toes out and step your right foot forward. Malasana at the front of your mat. So Malasana, heels can be down. If that doesn't work for you, your heels can also be up. It's a little bit more of a balance. You can always bring fingertips down to the mat if you need to for a little bit of stabilization. And then from here, we're going to throw in a little crow pose for anybody that wants to get a little bit of inversion and work on arm balances. You're going to place your hands down on the mat. Walk your feet in a little bit closer, heels lift. Palms are going to be shoulder width distance apart. Now from here, lift your hips up, draw your knees in, and then come forward. So your knees come to the middle of your tricep and a little bit to the outside. That way, when you squeeze your knees towards each other, you're drawing your elbow tips in. All right, so just getting that connection and rocking forward is a really good place to start to feel some balance. If you'd like to, as you rock forward, move your gaze forward so that your spine stays long. Maybe lift one foot. Keep drawing your knees together, potentially lifting 2 feet, bringing the insides of your feet together, drawing your knees together. And then when you're done, plant your feet down. Uttanasana, hip width distance apart. Bend your knees, rest your thighs on your ribs. Inhale, lift your arms up, Utkatasana, chair pose. Inhale, exhale, come down a little bit deeper, move the weight more into your heels. Lengthen your low back so it's not compressing and getting tight. And then inhale, come to standing. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank. Take a breath in, rock forward. Exhale, Chaturanga. Push back, inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Up dog, the legs are strong, the hips are lifted. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg high. Exhale, step your right foot forward by your right thumb. Draw yourself forward into your lunge. Should feel familiar after dragon pose at the beginning. And then gaze back, step your left foot forward, left heel down. Again, commit in this front lunge before you rise up into your Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Hips and shoulders are square forward. Ribs are drawing in, and draw that right knee a little bit more forward. Press actively through your back leg. Take a breath in and a breath out. One more time. Inhale. Pressing through your feet, feel yourself grow an inch taller. And then exhale, bring both hands down to the inside of your front foot. And then heel toe your right foot out to the side. Step, big step forward, Malasana at the front of your mat. So again, we're gonna move into that crow pose. I'll demonstrate if you wanna stay down into Malasana and watch. If you feel like you're pretty good at crow pose, then you can go into what I call crane pose, which is where you start to straighten your arms. So you're not so much relying on the weight drawing down onto your triceps, but instead on lifting in your core. So I'll demonstrate both. Either stay in your Malasana, play with crow, play with crane, your choice. So hands shoulder width distance apart, walk your feet in, lift your heels high, place your knees in the middle of your tricep and draw them in. Bend your elbows, gaze forward. So that's a really important thing, especially if you always find yourself feeling like you're gonna fall forward into a somersault, which doesn't feel quite so good as an adult as it did as a child. So as the gaze goes forward, you're actually lengthening and distributing the weight more forward because your butt and your legs weigh more than your head. And then crane pose is straightening your arms. So crow, crow, and crane. And plant your feet down. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Bring your hands together, exhale, bring them down to heart center. All right, so now that we felt a little bit into our Malasana, which is a yogi squat at the front of the mat, we are going to move into a little bit of a Malasana walk, is what I like to call it. So staying low in our legs, really turning on our thighs and our hips. All right, so at the front of your mat, you're gonna heel toe your feet out wide, turn your toes out, bring your hands together and squat down into your Malasana. All right, from here, start to walk your feet back. 1 foot at a time, all the way to the back of your mat. And then your legs might be burning, maybe not quite so much yet, but we're gonna plant our hands down, either take a crow pose or you can press up, tap your toes together. Fun. All right, then bring your hands back to heart center and slowly walk your way to the front of the mat. Once you get there, plant your hands down, lean forward, crow pose, or toe taps. Maybe you can get a little bit of hang time. Walk back all the way to the back of the mat. Whew. Feel those legs work. Plant your hands. It's gonna feel good to get off those legs. Toe tapper, crow pose. And then walk back to the front. Whew. Hands down, toe tap, or crow pose. Your hands back to heart center, Malasana. And then slowly press back up to standing. Toes forward. Inhale, reach your arms up. Inhale. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Close your eyes, press your feet down. Feel that thumping of your heart under your thumbs. All right, and then from here, we're gonna move into a little standing balance. So we balanced on our arms, we balanced on our hands, we got the heart moving. We're gonna do one more up here and then bring it down. Get those hips nice and warm. All right, so pressing down into your right foot, you're gonna lift your left knee up. Then from there, start to shine the inside of that arch up towards the ceiling. Sit down halfway and then place the outside of your ankle just above your knee for a standing figure four. Bring your hands to your hips to start. Notice if the lifted leg, the hip is higher. And if it is, just gently draw it back down. Flex that lifted foot. Bring your right hand to the bottom of your left leg and press your hand into that foot. Then take the inside or your palm and place it to the inside of your knee, gently applying just a little bit of pressure to increase the sensation of this pose. Move your gaze to something that's not moving. Take 3 deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Last time, breath in and breath out. All right, then you're gonna take this hand at the bottom of the foot, move it to the outside of your foot, so you're along the knife edge, and then you take the hand that's on the inside of the knee, slip it to the outside of the knee. Slowly start to stand up, and as you do, bring your leg up with you. So you're holding your figure four. Your right leg is extended and strong, and then maybe bring it up in front of your chest. You can move this hand so that both hands are on your feet. You can also stop anywhere along this path that your hip is like, that's as far as I go. And then potentially bring the inside of the foot towards your sternum. Just like if anybody's taken a bar class, you can do a figure four on a bar. That's kind of like what this is, but with the added component of balance. And slowly bend your standing leg and let that other leg go. Take your legs out wide, do a couple hip circles, roll it out. Maybe even flick your fingers. Just remove all of that from your nervous system. Reset. Give it a good shake. And then heel toe your feet back in together. All right, other side. So you're gonna press your left leg down. And then as I press down, I do actually gently bend it. So that would give me more stability. Bring your right leg up. Start to shine the arch of that foot up and then place it just above your knee. Figure four, hands to hips, and sit down and back. Breathe in and out. One more, inhale and exhale. And start to place your left hand to the bottom of your right foot. Flex that foot, press it equal and opposite into that hand. That is going to turn on the muscles, stabilize around your knee so that you can safely apply that gentle pressure to the inside of your knee, getting a little bit more of a sensation. See if you can bend your standing leg a little bit more. Press a little bit more onto the inside of that knee. And then begin to slip your hand to the outside of your foot. Gently, with the other hand, guide your knee up. Come to standing. Lift that heel up as high as it'll go. Maybe move both hands to your flexed foot and then draw it in towards your chest. Breathe in and out. One more time, inhale, and then exhale, slowly release. Step your feet out wide. Again, gentle hip circles. There is so much activation in the muscles, so much work to keep ourselves upright. Reverse your circles in that pose, right? That standing figure four. So we're gonna take that same shape, stretching the outside of our hips. Do it on the floor, sleeping pigeon. But this time, I want you to bring in all the props. So you feel super supported here in this pose. All right. So you're gonna just come down, hands and knees. For this pose, I'm gonna use a couple blocks and some blankets. All right, so blankets or pillows, you know, I can just like pull in some couch cushions, you know, whatever you've got nearby. It can also be just pillows from your bed. We're gonna start with our left foot. So from your figure four, just bring your left foot forward and then heel toe it across your mat. Bring the left knee down and then set yourself up in your pigeon pose. Right leg extends back behind you. The first place that you're going to want support, and actually I'll do it this direction so you can see, is underneath that left hip. So a block works really good for that. A folded up blanket works good for that. Also, you can just shove a pillow right under that glute as well. Now, as you start to fold yourself forward, place something for your forehead to rest on. It can be a pillow, you can scrunch up a blanket or a pillow long ways. If you do have a yoga bolster, which is kind of an expensive prop, you can also bring that bolster or a really long couch cushion. Let's do that, that's kind of fun. I'm just gonna rip apart my back room here. Couch cushion. All right. This is pretty much the same shape as a bolster. Just bring it in and let your whole chest rest down. If you have something long like this, then you're going to want to bring one ear down to the mat. You going to join me, Rufus? Hi. Okay, go lay down. And then once you get yourself nice and set up in this pigeon pose, see if you can collapse into it. Make sure that you have props in all the places where you can feel supported. So, you know, this really long couch cushion situation is nice because you can let your whole chest actually drop down. You're still feeling like, I need a little bit more support. Sometimes bring a block or a pillow right in front of my right hip. And that'll help to square your hips, especially if they're feeling like you're dropping a little bit to the left side. Maybe close your eyes. See where you feel like you're still clenching. A lot of times it can be on that outer left leg. Maybe in your upper back. Maybe you're still really pressing down with that extended right leg. And wherever you notice that clench, that constriction, pause, take a deep breath in. Let the air slowly pick apart that knot. And then exhale, as though you were pulling it through water. Let the water start to unwind the threads. Inhale, give it space. Let the knot start to come undone. And then exhale. Let the water run through the knot. Let your breath come in and out of your nose very slowly, without much constriction. See and notice if your chest is a little bit more relaxed. there's more room around your lungs to breathe. There's more space in your upper back to expand your breath into. And then slowly start to bring your hands in by your side under your shoulder and press yourself up. Wipe any drool off of your pillow. Move the props away from your hips. And then tuck your right toes. You'll just bring that left knee back, coming into all fours. And just wiggle your hips a little bit from side to side. Whenever I do this, my left hip, the first hip, feels so much different right here. So hopefully it almost feels like you could just fall all the way to that left side. Okay, bring the right foot forward, plant it, and then heel toe it across your mat. Bring the right knee down. Tuck the left toes under and extend that leg long behind you. Start to set up. Again, beginning with that right hip, let it be supported. And if it felt good and you did that on the other side, you can match that support. So especially if you have two pillows that are of equal size, it's good to do the same support under the right hip as you do in front of the left psoas. Begin to walk yourself down. Pull in the front pillow or block or sofa cushion. And you can bring that even over your front thigh, especially if it's a little bit softer, and collapse down over it. Then bring the opposite cheek down if you have something all the way underneath your head. Take a deep breath in. Feel yourself actually pressing away from the mat. And then as you exhale, see if you can relax. Relax your fingers, relax your arms. Inhale. Fill your lungs. Exhale, relax your toes, relax your shins, relax your calves. Inhale, press from your knees up to your hips. Exhale, relax your thighs, relax your hamstrings. And then finally, let the weight of your hips drop down. Bring your eyes to close. Relax your neck and your head. Just like we did earlier in our runner's lunge. Notice where you initially feel the deepest sensation. And it might be a very acute sensation, or it might be dull. And then start to notice where that sensation radiates to in your body. So that as you stay here and you let the pose develop, you let it marinate, starts to radiate out. You get that urge to twitch or move in your toes or maybe in your neck. See if you can resist that urge and just take another breath in. And with that breath out, does that sensation or that urge to move subside? Potentially now the sensation has moved elsewhere in your body. There's an itch. There's a tug. Again, take a deep breath in and out. And slowly walk your hands in under your shoulders. Move the props out of the way from your chest, from your hips. This time you're going to drop down to your right side. And then just bring the left leg around. Come to a comfortable seat. You too, Rufus, sit down. Draw yourself up. Bring your hands together to heart center. So using that sleeping pigeon pose as our Shavasana tonight, finding stillness. Resisting the urge to let our thoughts pull us away. And instead, letting yourself take a deep dive into the sensations in our body and our mind and our breath. Gently draw your thumbs up to third eye center. Be curious. Follow your bliss.